finishing my state after Prelude 2 series, we have Turmoil. And if you've watched my videos before, you'd know that Turmoil is my favorite expansion. There's a video up there that sort of goes into detail of why. But basically, I just think it just adds a lot of strategy to the game. Um, it's like connected in many ways, and it's awesome. It just adds so much more planning and strategy. I love the Senate. I love the pieces too. Like people who care about that. Um, but yeah, a few of the other things I really like the mechanic that they have with the you get a slightly better card, but you can only play it if that party is in power, or you have two delegates there. So um, that's a mechanic I really like. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the events. I think it's an additional thing, but it's like I honestly I could have lived without them. But I do like them. I think it's a plus, but it's a very small plus, right? So what do I think are the problems for me with this expansion would be basically the balance of the parties. If you've seen my other videos on the parties, you'd know I think the Calvinis are garbage, absolute shit. And unfortunately, the only way to change that is with the policy. And I think the scientists have some design problems. Well, watch that video for details. So they're on the weaker side. The other four parties were Mars probably being a little average, but the other three are really good. So what did I want from Prelude 2? Well, I wanted more interaction with the other expansions. Because Turmoil is unfortunately, I would say, one of the least popular ones. Only Venus is less popular. People really like Prelude and Colonies. I like Turmoil more than both of those. Now Prelude you almost always add because it's like not an issue, but I'd rather, if you ask me, would you rather play without Prelude or Turmoil? I'd rather play without Prelude. There's just no reason to play without it either. But it's a good expansion, right? And it really shortens the game. So, but yeah, what did I want? I wanted interaction. I wanted more cards with that mechanic, the two delegates or the party in power. And I wanted cool effects. Same with colonies, right? Like the plus one influence and that kind of thing. I wanted that. So did I get that? Mostly, yeah. So let's start with the preludes. We got only three preludes, which is the lower. We got four colonies and five Venus out of the 29. So 17 unaligned. But yeah, only three preludes in Turmoil. They don't need the preludes that much, but I really like what they did with the preludes. So you have Rise to Power. Just gives you three delegates, so that's a huge head start on just controlling the game. And three cash, right? Three cash income. But that's the least interesting one, actually. High Circles gives you one influence and gives you two delegates. And then a terraform rating, and I love this part. You can draw something with a party requirement. And you can do that before you place your delegates. So you might get to play that immediately, or even the next turn if you just win that election. So I really like High Circles, and you have plus one influence too, right? That's like I wanted to see more of those effects. And then Corridors of Power, probably broken. Each time you become party leader, draw a card. Probably broken. So really cool effect, but like this happens so many times in a game that yeah, it's just insanely broken. I'm sorry, it's just broken. It's just so many cards here, and you get like a TR and 4 cash. So that might be a problem that I have. I wish it wasn't this broken. Like, at least remove the TR and the 4 cash, right? Or I think if I saw this without the TR and negative cash, I would still play it. So I don't know. There's a balance problem there. But the second thing they address is we got more cards. We got one for each party. And well, I think Summit Logistics, the science one, kind of sucks because it's related to Unity. So it's again, like if you see my video, I think the scientist party is great for Unity. and this just like it doesn't help the science player, it just keeps helping the Unity player more, right? So it's like Unity gets two parties and it got two cards. uh like this should, like you really need to have this. Scientists are not incentivized to put the like science players are not incentivized to put the scientists in power generally, and Unity players are. So this just works more in that direction. So I did that. Some of the logistics I decided I didn't like. Colonial Envoys, the Unity one, I discussed it in my Turmoil in my colonies video, and it's the only cross expansion one out of the six. I think it's good. I think it can be really powerful. Like if you get three delegates, that's very good. If you get two, that's still good, but not super good. But it's not that interesting. It's just not that interesting. It's okay. I wanted something better for cross expansion. And then JJ Shimpant, that's for the thermalists. It's another, like the other two are also just cheap, develop your heat. The floater thing is interesting. This could be a thermalist stealer. Or it could just be like floaters can get high at the end of the game. So this could be a lot of temperature steps if it's lagging behind. But I don't know. And if you're healing, it can just be money, right? So, but yeah, I don't know. It's a Calvinist, and I think it's good. I wanted maybe something different. Like there's one of the promos, homeostasis bureau. I would have loved to see like something like that, but we got it anyway. So now the other three I love. Red Appeasement, very interesting, very red. Uh, Special Permit, I love that you steal plants with a green sim power. Like it just it's so and Frontier Town, like collecting a bonus two additional times is so like it goes so much with what Mars First should do. So I love three of these cards that they added. Um, I wish we had more. That would be my other complaint. I could have seen like two of each. We only have two of each in the original Turmoil expansion, and now we have three of each. Like I really want more cards like this. I know it's six because they try, they gotta keep it even. But I would have been very happy to see six more cards like this, right? Now let's talk about the rest of the cards that it brought. It brought the same amount as Venus, 11. So out of the 24, 11 cards have Turmoil, 11 have Venus, and 8 have colonies, and that's because some are cross expansion. It's not gonna add up, but yeah, I've talked about colonial representation. I like the plus one influence thing. I don't think the colony rebate is interesting. I've talked about Envoys from Venus in the Venus video. I like this one more. I like the requirement more as an interaction, and it's an advantage for the Venus player, but I think it's a more of a Venus card than a Turmoil card, right? So just making the Venus player a little better. Now the other two, Jovian Envoys is basically like Envoys from Venus, but Jovian. So Unity got maybe too much, because Jovian Envoys, Envoys from Venus, Summit Logistics, and Colonial Envoys all interact with Unity better than anyone else. And then the last two are Earth decks. So, of course, you would play this as any faction, but Unity gets one of their decks. So it was very maybe unbalanced. Two of the Preludes also have Earth decks, so it's like Unity got a lot better. Basically, if you only play colonies, Turmoil, like Unity became much stronger because a lot of the good cards are related to it. But anyway, these last two were Govern Project. It's just a very powerful card if you're German. So I really like this, and I like that you can draw Prelude cards, but you're just gonna get a lot of value out of a single card if you're chairman, and that incentivizes you to play more on the parties, which is great. And then Sponsoring Nation is just like a points card, and I think you play this at the end, basically to score Terraform rating with player leaders, unless you get major discounts, and then the production and the parties are worth it. But it's more like a generic card, like a generic point card to me. So overall, what's the state of Turmoil after Prelude 2? I think it's about the same. uh, I don't know. I think it will it get more fun, like, cause I was always going to love everything Turmoil, right? Does it get more fun for other players? I'm not sure. I don't think it added enough, but I think the things that it added were mostly good. So I'm happy about that. I just want more cards, basically. Because this expansion only got 16 cards, unlike Venus and Turmoil, which got 50 each, or 49. So I wish we gotten more cards. And not even more preludes. I'm happy that there's 3 preludes. I don't think there's that much you can do with preludes. Um, but yeah, even though we got 11, which is high, I yeah, I wish more, like 6 more, one more cycle of the party thing. That would have been great. Because the Iron Delegates, I like. It's nice to run into a card like that, but man, I don't need it that much, right? But that mechanic I really love, and I'm very happy that they added one cycle of it. I wish they added 2. But anyway, that's it for my Turmoil video. Let me know what you think, and yeah, see you next time.